Thanks for joining us today, Neal.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Could you tell us a little bit about our background, about your background, just to let our listeners know a little bit about who you are, just both personally and professionally?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Oakland County. I moved out here almost 6 years ago, and immediately upon moving out here, I really wanted to become more involved with kind of development and initiatives within the community. I could see the potential that the area was growing, and that it might be nice to have a new voice in that arena of making decisions on what programs we need and what infrastructure could be in place. So I am actually a very avid cyclist, both in the mountain biking realm and the gravel realm. I am chair of the Osceola Township Planning Commission, as well as chair of the Livingston County Transportation Coalition, which I got involved with about 3 years ago. So those are initiatives that are all very dear to my heart and reasons why I've gotten involved in the platforms I have.
So, this was just always an interest to you, the infrastructure piece, or was there something that really intrigued you about getting involved?
Well, where I came from in Oakland County, a lot of that stuff during the boom, you could see things not being considered or getting pushed to the back shelf.
Where are you from in Oakland County?
I grew up in Waterford, actually.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but I'm from Clarkston.
Oh,
Initially,
yep.
so,
I lived in Clarkston as well.
Yeah.
Yep, so very familiar with that area. So I just saw the.
And I could understand where you're coming from. Just a lot of disconnect in some of those, especially transportation pieces.
Absolutely, absolutely. Transportation was a definite afterthought there, and that's why I wanted to be involved out here.
Well, good. So you kind of dove in full-fledged, and you're involved in all aspects here, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, what do you do? You know, that's your volunteer work. What do you do as your day job?
Oh, as my day job, I am actually Vice President of Operations and Product Development for a company down in Ann Arbor called Handy Holder Products. So we make holding solutions for tablets and mobile credit card devices. And I lead the design and the operations side of that company.
So you're not busy at all?
Nope.
No.
Not at all, not at all.
Well, we really appreciate your volunteerism here and dedicating your time to the Livingston County region, because we know these things are really important, and we're going to talk about that a little bit next. So I'd like you to tell me a little bit about the Transportation Coalition.
Okay, absolutely. The Transportation Coalition precedes me. It was started in 2005 by largely a group of people that had a demand to make the Let's bus service a little better, a little broader, and a little more accessible for everyone. It was developed to kind of recognize the gaps in public transportation and pull together all the providers that could help build a positive transit system. So in recent years, the Transportation Coalition has been able to get some funding, do some public outreach, do some research, and build what we kind of use as our kind of guiding
A roadmap,
document.
so to speak.
Yeah, roadmap, exactly. The Livingston County Transit Master Plan. So in that, there is description of services that can be provided. In the time since that's been created, we've been able to add and supplement services at Let's, like getting some smaller buses running, as well as getting smaller alliances with some of the hospitals and doing medical runs and things of that nature, and getting software to schedule the bus service. So,
And is that the software piece of that? Is that pretty new?
yeah, it's pretty new. There will be announcements about that
Coming up,
and I know the team at Let's is working really hard on getting that launch up and going.
That's exciting. What will that look like? Can you describe what that might look like, or what the anticipated look of it is going to feel like?
So that is actually going to be a lot more in line with probably what the younger demographic is used to, which is kind of an app-based or online-based program. I don't want that to scare people away. You're still going to be able to call and schedule rides and do things of that nature. But this is a system that will kind of automate the back-end scheduling process to make the service as efficient as possible and give riders more information on when buses are coming, what the schedule is, and opportunities to schedule it easier, even from their phone.
Yeah, I think that will be huge to ridership and making sure that people are getting where they need to be, especially with ease, but hopefully opening it up to a broader audience as well.
That's the hope.
Yes, absolutely. So can you tell me, and maybe some of our listeners aren't really aware of, what is LETS?
LETS is actually Livingston Essential Transportation Service, and that is the bus service that you see driving all around the county and helps a lot of people that might not have the capacity to get to their appointments or to their jobs to maneuver around the county and even out of the county for that matter.
Who is eligible to take advantage of that service?
Anybody can use LETS. LETS is a public bus service. It is not exclusive to any one party, and it is there for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's
often missed by many people. It is for everyone.
Okay. So let's see. You talked about the transit master plan briefly, and I can't remember if you mentioned where could somebody find that master plan? I know you guys use that as a roadmap to.
Yep. The transit master plan. We actually have our own website for the coalition called livco.org, and on there the Livingston County Transit Master Plan is listed. It is also on the county websites as well.
And do you know, sorry, I've got a ton of questions right now, but do you know how long ago that transit master plan was put together?
Transit master plan started, if I recall correctly, in 2017, and it was officially wrapped and recognized by the Board of Commissioners in June of 2019, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So how would somebody, maybe get involved with the coalition if they were interested in learning more about or engaging like yourself in some of these plans as they move forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So probably the best way to get in contact with us is through the website there, and we also have a Facebook page with the same name, movelivco.org. That is the best way to get in contact. The website now actually has a newsletter sign up on it. We do a quarterly newsletter that's released at the end of each quarter to kind of recap what's gone on in that quarter in regards to transportation, not only motorized but non-motorized initiatives as well. So that would be the place to look to get involved. Also, I'm accessible. Everyone can reach out to me. I can easily be reached via email at neal.glazebrook@gmail.com.
Okay, we still have some time left, so I'm going to keep going here and just asking you some different questions, because I think too there's a common misconception with transits, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think when people think transit, they think public transportation, and that's exactly where their mind goes. But what else is encompassed in that transit master plan? Because you said non-motorized, so I'm just curious, what does that look like?
Well, when the transit master plan was made, obviously the focus at that point was LETS, but having that bus service, part of which in there is a scheduled bus route that with the blessing of the commissioners down the road we'll be able to put into place. But all those little working pieces relate to each other. So you can have the transit system, but you can't have transit if people cannot walk to the bus stops, if they can't bike to the bus stops, if there's not pedestrian and non-motorized access to be able to reach those destinations as well. So that is all part of the transit plan. It is just not exclusive to motorized. There is the non-motorized segment of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you think transit, like I said, your head goes to automatically that public transportation piece of it and motorized. And I think really touching on and just hammering home that it's truly an ecosystem, and it's it all has to work really well together in order for it to work successfully. So I think that that's also something that we need to look at, because I know that there's been discussions of implementing the transit master plan, and then maybe some stages as well. But initially getting to that full big picture ecosystem plan, I think was, is important.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it can be done out here, and still maintain the rural aspect that everyone loves about Livingston County, and still have the services and the access that people need.
Now, were walking trails included in that? I know you said like sidewalks to get to places, but I didn't know if walking trails were a part of that as well.
So the brunt of the transit master plan was on motorized, with considerations for non-motorized stuff.
Okay.
From that, the county and what we call the Live On network was able to do a trails master plan as well.
That's what I thought. I knew that there was another piece of that, but I
Yeah.
couldn't remember how they exactly connected.
And that document, which was officially launched spring of last year, after many parties, the local state parks, metro parks, many residents, municipalities all weighing in on kind of the gaps in potentially connecting the parks, finishing sidewalks throughout communities, and making it a area that can be traversed not only by a vehicle, but also on foot or a bicycle, and accessible for everyone.
Well, yeah, and we know recreation is huge out here. So it looks like there was a little bit that other things that you wanted to touch on. I'm not sure if you got to touch on anything, but is there anything else you wanted to share? I think you mentioned the parks, the recreation. I know, we got to look at the notes here just to make sure that we're touching and covering all the points that we need to cover. Why would you tell somebody to get involved in the coalition?
Well, so I became involved, honestly, like I said, because I saw the opportunity. The opportunity is there to do this on the front end now, instead of making an afterthought 10, 20 years from now.
And it's much more harder to fix.
It's harder to fix
more
the problem.
expensive.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that is what I saw in Oakland County drastically, was it being an afterthought to put pedestrian and bike lanes in and have a transportation system that worked for everyone. And ultimately it failed a lot because of that. So if any of those items are important to you, now would be the time to get involved, because the opportunity is there to make these things happen before development happens and dollars are allocated elsewhere, and there's not the space left to make these things work.
Well, and I know you've got some exciting speakers now coming and speaking at coalition meetings. So I don't know, is there one coming up, or did that one just happen?
We actually, so what was that, a month or two ago, we had Norte from Traverse City, Michigan, which is a organization that does just what we have been trying to do down here.
Okay.
So they make safe routes to schools and all kinds of different pedestrian initiatives.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Neal. You'll have to keep us updated on that. But if anybody wants more information, they can visit the website, Move Live Co. And that concludes our show today. So thanks for tuning in.